Well folks, today I am on Mr. Chippy's bench. A bit less tat on there. Well, there is now. It's Monday and it's a bank holiday, which to people in out of the UK is a public holiday. And guess what? The banks are on holiday. I wonder if there's a holiday on interest payments on loans, seeing as they haven't bothered going to work. It doesn't seem to work that way. Well, there was a radio rally. And I often say, I'll try and get something at a radio rally, usually scrap CB chassis. And it's the first time in 2 years with the COVID situation that we've been able to go to a rally. This was about 65 miles away. We went in the electric car. I knew we'd have to get some electricity on the way back, which we did. So, what am I going to tell you? Oh, it's St. Neots in Cambridgeshire. And so we got to this school, secondary school, academy, whatever you call it. I wasn't able to get off first thing, and of course they always say, well, if you don't get there first thing, you don't get the bargains. But of course it depends what you're all looking for. And there's the phone. That was my retired friend Bob, who was on the phone. Right. So I went to this radio rally after I did my shopping job this morning. So we got there about 11:30. So this Maxon Pm100 business radio is U1 version, so that's absolutely ideal to go on 70 SEMs. It's come with a mic, it's come with a stub power lead. So that, I mean, they were £299 20 years ago plus VAT. VAT for overseas people is a 20% purchase tax. Then we've got this CB radio which has £10 on it, and it's an Audioline 340. So, you know, nice quality set. It'll need 4 of those capacitors changing, I know, and I can see the meter inside there. I can see, and I don't know whether you can on the video, and seeing as I'm sat here as a static camera, I can't fiddle around with it, but it's all kind of skew-whiff, as we would say, askew. It's all knackered looking. But again, it's come with the factory mic, and it's come with a stub power lead which we'll be able to put a fuse holder on and lengthen. So, nice radio, and it was from the same vendor. And I says to him, look, I'm a Yorkshireman. Would you mind awfully if we can have the 2 for £30, please? And he says, yes, of course. So 25, 10 became 30 for the 2. So that's the kind of thing, isn't it? That's a lovely bargain. So we've got a German name little power supply here. I don't know anything about it apart from that. It says 13.5 volts output. It's got a mains lead, it's even got a plug on the end, and it's one of the older non-shrouded type plugs, but nevertheless it's got a plug on the end. And I think we'll open this up. He says it works. Probably does. Probably needs some capacitors changing. He said he was running it with a whatever, it's a radio ham. This is all from outside stores rather than big traders with a big name behind them. And these are genuine people clearing genuine stuff. And you see, bargains to some person when the doors open at 10 o'clock are totally different to bargains to somebody else, aren't they? And amateur radio itself is a very wide thing. I'm not interested in data mode. Some people are only interested in data modes, and so it goes on. I'm not interested in DX. Some people are only interested in DX. I'm only interested really in UHF, and so, you know, this is me and this is other people. There's no right and wrong. It's just as long as you stick to the rules, there's no right and wrong. See if we can get into that. Yep. So it's a regulated power supply. It's got a wrong fuse fitted there, but it's probably the correct value. They put a 3 amp one. I think it needs to be less than that. But you can see it is a regulated power supply. Probably got adjustable volt and adjustable current. So we'll go through that. We'll probably do a video covering this. I've never seen one before in my life, and I would suspect it's probably from about 1980. I think it's before the UK CB happened, and you can see that the terminals to the transformer aren't shrouded. It's a single pole switch, which wouldn't be permitted in the UK. So something somebody's brought in rather than something that was actually for sale in the UK at the time. So at the end of the day, power supplies, traditional power, can't even put it back together right, are very expensive with transformers in, and they're the only power supplies I want. So then we're left with 3. Do you know what we'll do? We'll plug that in. We'll plug that in. So it's lit up. We've got a meter here. And it's doing 13 volts. So I haven't got a load to put on that. It would mean getting that out of the test equipment cupboard, but that nevertheless is working. You know what we'll do? We'll power up this this radio from it. So different vendors. It's not like the two ever matched. It's probably got enough wires poking through the terminals. Whoops. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, that is actually got a display on it, and any of you know the 220 microfarad capacitors which fail, now these are 38 years old, stop the display from coming on. So, you know, it's not totally dead, and we'll look at that another day, but it does power up, so that's, I can see there's meter issue. So yeah, we will recap that. But it does basically work, which is great. I do like buying other people's tat. And then finally, I love the SW711 speakers. They come as different brands. That's a CS711, and that's lost its thing. These are big, hefty speakers, and I mean, even Pi stroke Philips were putting them on their business radios at one point, but with a different impedance speaker. The Pi business radios tend to be 3 or 4 ohms to go with historically the, I suppose, the valve sets from a bygone era. But normally these are going to be 8 ohms. And have we got an impedance meter on here? We have got an impedance meter. It's good here on this, on bench number Chippy. So obviously these need some leads putting on, but we're probably going to use these around the place or in the van or something like that. I've never got enough of this type of speaker. Right, let's just change the mode. But it's certainly working. The next one, somebody's put a switch on the bottom of that for whatever reason. I know some of these came with a switch, but that's not the same type. And this one's come with the bracket and the Yeah, 7.36 ohms that one works out at as an impedance thing. Ah, interesting. That's coming up as 3.5 ohms, so that could well be one of the pi type ones. So that's why we do these little tests. So that wouldn't be suitable for CB, but it would be suitable for some business radios. So yeah, and they were £1 each. So that's a nice little haul. So that is what we did this afternoon. Well, more than this afternoon, 60 odd miles there, 60 odd miles back. And we went in the electric car, and I didn't put enough charge in at the first point where I stopped. For some reason we were using more power. I don't know why. It must have been my weight. Anyway, second charge station, I went with 2 bank cards and a credit card, and the machine decided that none were acceptable, and I think that it relied on a mobile phone signal which it wasn't getting, and that's why it wouldn't give us any charge. So we drove very carefully, no doubt much to the annoyance of other motorists, at like 50 miles an hour, very carefully on the A1, which is a dual carriageway, so 2 lanes, and we managed to get to the next charge station with about 1 mile to spare, and luckily Mr. Chippy has one of those smart mobile phones, and the app allowed him to get some charge in the car. We've been calling the Automobile Association to tow us, which would be embarrassing. Ironically, a known working charge station was actually about 4 miles away, but I don't think we'd have made it. Anyway, we got back, everything was super duper, and that's what I bought at the rally. So what did I spend? 30, 35, 38 pounds. What a load of tat. Thanks for watching.